I believe that the underlying purpose we had in No Child Left Behind regarding highly qualified teachers was a good one. Of course, every parent in America wants their child to be taught by an educator that's considered highly qualified. However, there is a vast disconnect between a teacher who meets certain requirements on paper and one whose teaching has a true impact on students in the classroom and increases academic achievement. I'm part of a family of educators. I hear daily that what life is like in the classroom. Some of the people who've had the largest impact on my life were teachers and principals. I believe that teachers are provided with a toolbox of sorts when they walk into the front door of their school. However, that toolbox may not be fully stocked. Sometimes it takes years to practice, get professional development, collaborate with other veteran teachers in order to fill that toolbox. I support measuring teacher effectiveness, but we need to have wherewithal to move as smartly as we do quickly. These systems need to be developed in an open and transparent method, and they need to be developed with the people that they will affect. That would be the students, the parents, the teachers, and the school administrators. This shouldn't be a top-down directive solely from Washington, far removed from local school districts, teachers, and students. I'm so pleased that we have a person from Wyoming testifying this morning, that he could join us today and share some of his experiences as a principal in Wyoming. He's provided great leadership in the state and can talk to us about the needs of principals in rural schools, and that's often different from those in urban and suburban counterparts. He also plans to discuss some of the changes proposed by ESEA and the impact they'd have on rural schools and districts across the country. And I thank you for making the journey out here. I know how far it is. And I know how far removed a lot of our communities are from the major transportation.
Thank you, Senator Harkin and Senator Enzi. I appreciate the invitation to be here and address this committee. There are a couple of points I'd like to just talk about briefly this morning to consider for rural schools. Well, first of all, let me back up a little. I would like to say that I acknowledge that teachers are absolutely the key to our education system. They are the first priority and always have been and always need to be, in my view. I would argue that second to them, that a good principal is really key. If you find a good school, you definitely have good teachers, but I would argue that you will have a good principal in there organizing the efforts. So I think we have an important role to play in the whole process. To move a little bit to the rural idea, one of the proposals, I understand it, for the reauthorization of ESEA is to be competitive for grants. And one of the things, that sounds good on the surface. We're competitive in America. We're a capitalist society. But I think that will disadvantage our rural schools. We don't have a grant writer on staff in our district. Again, many of our population are here today and have kind of depleted the population out in Wyoming. So for us to have to compete for those grants is going to be difficult. It won't be a level playing field. And we just ask that it be. The second thing, and I agree, we need to do better at evaluation, both for teachers and principals. I would say on the end for principals, we really need to have more autonomy. I understand that to turn the low-performing schools around, that there are 4 proposals. All of them include getting rid of the principals. I would say give the principal a little bit more autonomy up front, because if you just fire them and then you bring somebody else in and then let them restructure the school however they want, just do that up front. Give the principal the autonomy up front, and then if they're not cutting it at a certain point, no problem, then we'll find a new principal. And we need to. We need to have good people, both for teachers and principals. I think we need a little bit better professional development for our principals. Much of the staff development, almost all the staff development I've seen has been oriented towards teachers. And I think we've got to train these principals. I did a little bit of digging, and 61% of our principals in Wyoming have been in the job 5 years or fewer. So the demographics are we're a fairly young group. We need some good professional development, particularly in, I think, in early childhood literacy and in how to turn low-performing schools around.